No end in sight.
A lot more water moving than I've seen.
As the flooding moves downstream, the cities and homes at risk.
This is an historic flood.
Breaking records at Lake Travis. How high the reservoir might rise as the LCRA prepares to open more floodgates than ever before. Riding out the flood.
Lots of mud and all the furniture's floated around.
Homeowners describe surviving the raging water.
The historic flooding moves downstream. Right now, the LCRA is opening more floodgates at Mansfield Dam. This is a live look where raging water pours out of at least 4 gates that are open right now. Up to 4 more could open within the next 24 hours. That would make the most ever. All of that water is putting people downstream at risk. The move is meant to control flooding at Lake Travis.
The lake rose to its highest level in more than a decade earlier today, and it's only getting higher. On Christmas Day, 1991, the lake rose to its highest level ever at just over 710 feet above sea level. Water flooded hundreds of homes. Now, voluntary evacuations took place at the island on Lake Travis this morning. The decision came as the lake rose above the major flood stage. Chief Meteorologist Chicago Windler is tracking the new flood threat now in Chicago. In the coming days, the water could actually come close to that level again.
Yes, based on the current projections by the LCRA, we could see Lake Travis get to between 705 and 710. If it reaches 705 feet, that would be number 3. If it reaches 710, it could rival that Christmas Day storm of 1991. As you can see right now, we've got some spotty showers moving up and down the I-35 corridor. This is not a big deal at this point. What is more concerning is the fact that we've had a steady stream of rain just to our north and west. And even though it's not in our area, a lot of this rain flows into Lake Buchanan. Lake Buchanan is now becoming a piece of this puzzle because now that there are 8 floodgates open there, all of that has to pass through safely and swiftly with as little impact to life and property, all the way through Lake Travis and then downstream to Lake Austin, Lady Bird Lake, eventually toward Bastrop and on into Fayette County and then finally into the Gulf of Mexico. What we don't want to see is additional heavy rain. And currently our Future Track computer model, high resolution, it updates about once an hour. It's pretty quiet for the most part through about midnight tonight. However, as we head into tomorrow, we're going to see some tropical moisture get tapped from the Gulf of Mexico, and that could mean renewed rain that could be on the steadier side. You can see by about 8 a.m. areas of rain likely through the areas we don't want it in the hill country and also some more off toward the south and east. So with that in mind and with the fact that we have at least another 3 days of moderate rain chances, flash flood watch has been extended till tomorrow, 7 o'clock, and also I-35 has been added to the hill country areas. Now ahead in your CBS Austin 7-day, we'll take a look at those lake projections. We'll also look ahead to how much more rain we could see, and even into next week, there could be another round.
With floodgates opening up, Austin officials are monitoring conditions here in the city. CBS Austin's Christian Flores is live at Lady Bird Lake. Christian, what is it looking like down there now?
Well, people have been coming up and taking pictures and gawking at the lake, and you could really see why, because you can see, and they've never seen it so high or so active. The lake is around 3 feet from flood stage. Officials are making plans now in case things do get worse. Several agencies met earlier today at the City of Austin Emergency Operations Center. This after the LCRA says Austin could feel some of the effects of the flooding upstream, especially if they open additional floodgates. The Watershed Protection Department is one agency paying attention to this. They don't believe Lady Bird Lake will rise to levels that will threaten property, but they are watching the weather.
If we see any indications that water is rising in our creeks, we are prepared to work with our emergency responders and to close our low water crossings.
And the Watershed Protection Department believes roads will be most affected by possible floods. To monitor road closures, you can go on their website, atxfloods.com. Reporting live downtown, Christian Flores, CBS Austin News.
That current is very strong. Thanks, Christian. Austin waterways and areas alongside them remain closed off tonight. Flooding already put parts of the Butler Hike and Bike Trail underwater. Now the city wants people just to stay away. It's shut down until further notice, along with Barton Springs, the Barton Creek Greenbelt, and all lakes, streams, and creeks within city limits.
Right now, more than 100 roads are impassable across central Texas. Remember, it is illegal to drive around barricades at crossings. That's what we always say, turn around, don't drown. The historic flooding in the Hill Country claimed another life. At least 2 people have died so far. Llano County officials say crews found the body of a woman in a low water crossing this morning. While the water has gone down, they're asking anyone who evacuated to stay away because more rain is expected. Senator Ted Cruz joined local leaders less than an hour ago, promising state help in the recovery process.
We'll rebuild the bridge. But the bridge is not the infrastructure of the community. The real infrastructure of the community are the leaders.
The bridge is a major artery for the Kingsland community, and it could take more than a year to repair.
CBS Austin's Adam Hammonds is live near the FM 2900 bridge tonight. And Adam, Senator Cruz said there is federal funding available and it can be coming soon.
Yeah, this bridge really is vital for both Llano County and Burnett County, both for emergency response and just the day-to-day lives for people living around here on that side of the river and on this side of the river. And I asked Senator Cruz if he identified any kind of federal resources for this. He says they are working on that, especially with Governor declaring the state of disaster yesterday. He also says Texas has experience with natural disasters and they can help clear the red tape for that funding. Now, just upstream from here is Llano, and that's where they found a body at a low water crossing. I talked with a homeowner just nearby as he came back today to his home that was flooded.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten a chance to look through the yard.
It's a much different site at Alexander Vanderberg's mother's home.
This was all filled up with water.
After a creek rose several feet above the house on Tuesday. Inside, there was a lot of damage.
This was like the computer room.
The floor caked in mud, furniture thrown about, and the refrigerator showing a line of dirt after it floated in the water. This couch is where his mother-in-law woke up to water at her ankles. She got out quickly.
She left the door open, just took the dogs and cat with her.
The water came from a creek down a hill nearby, the same area where a body was found Tuesday night. Vanderberg said he saw a car there Tuesday.
Probably the whole top of the car was exposed.
It's unclear if that's where the body was found, but he says it turns his stomach thinking about it.
Somebody's gotten a lot more to deal with than just property damage.
The Llano River did not crest a second time and is about 30 feet below where it was on Tuesday. That's great news for Vanderberg, but he's worried about the river rising again, as so many other families have lost their homes.
Sad story, man. Wonder how many other people are going through this right now, assessing the damages.
Now, we did ask officials about the timeline for a possible rebuilding the bridge. They still say it's unsure. They're still kind of reviewing it and seeing if maybe they might improve it or just kind of build the same thing. But they did say we will rebuild. Reporting live in Kingsland, Adam Hammonds, CBS Austin News.
Thanks, Adam, and we will continue to track this deadly flooding and recovery. You can also get up-to-the-minute information with our CBS Austin weather app. Stay with us on air and online at cbsaustin.com for this developing story.
Flames destroy a retirement complex. Now, at least 7 people have to find somewhere else to stay tonight. The fire started spreading around 4 this morning at St. George's Court in Northeast Austin. Firefighters contained most of the flames to the attic, but they say the building is a total loss. They credit working smoke alarms for preventing any injuries. The Red Cross is now helping those who are out of their home.
A rising demographic coming of age. The group of Texans, one study says, will shake up state politics.
Bouncing back from the flood, the recovery efforts already underway.
And as Adam was mentioning, the Llano River is recovering, but still technically under a river flood warning. We also have one for the Colorado River just north of Lake Buchanan. And finally, for the Little River, that's near Rockdale in Milam County. How much more rain could come through and what that will mean for other areas that could potentially see flooding coming up.
President Trump is ramping up his support for Senator Ted Cruz. He tweeted approval of the Republican candidate this morning. This comes a day after the final debate between Cruz and Democratic challenger Beto O'Rourke. The hour-long debate last night showcased a major shift in tone for O'Rourke, who aggressively attacked Cruz. Cruz fired back, claiming he has the support of the Hispanic community. The state's fastest growing demographic could change Texas voting patterns.
A new study finds Latinos will become one of the most important voting blocs in the state. Jolt Initiative helped put together the research. They found soon-to-be voting-age Latinos largely support a liberal agenda.
Over the next decade, over 2 million Latinos are going to turn 18, and 95% of them are going to be eligible to vote. That's half of all people turning 18 in the state.
The study claims the #1 issue Latinos care about in Texas is universal health care.
Drying out in Marble Falls, the help needed as flood victims work to rebuild.
And we're tracking those lake levels. Lake Buchanan, Lake Travis, all continuing to be very high. Specifically for Lake Travis, now up to 698.68, 134% full and rising. We'll track that for you coming up.
You're watching CBS Austin News, Central Texas Trusted.
Signs like this now appear across Marble Falls. A boil water notice means businesses still can't serve water or fountain drinks. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality put out the warning today. They say the flooding made drinking water unsafe. Before using water from your tap, be sure to bring it to a rolling boil. Similar notices are in effect in Llano County. The water in Marble Falls went down just enough today to allow homeowners their first chance to take a look at the damage to their waterfront properties.
Some wasted no time heading out to the flooded area. CBS Austin's Fred Cantu found one neighborhood already working on recovery.
Welcome to Pecan Valley in Marble Falls, where just hours after the water recedes, the cleanup begins. I'm told the water hadn't even totally receded when the kids started showing up in the neighborhood offering to help clean up. For Jake and Jenny across the street, there's a certain deja vu to this entire scene.
My parents lived here before, and we had a flood like this in '97. It wasn't quite this high. It was 2 feet.
2 feet.
This one's twice that high.
This couple is trying to wash away some mud and document the damage before they allow company in the house.
Lots of mud, and all the furniture's floated around, and it's really moved around.
And lost in the mud are some of Jake's treasures.
I had a pretty good collection of vinyl records that they just don't clean up well.
So now, after enduring 2 floods, what are Jake and Jenny going to do?
I mean, we have to fix it up to sell it, so I think we'll probably fix it up and keep it.
Bouncing back probably won't be as easy as it might have been in their younger days, but in their words, this is a nice place to be. In Marble Falls, Fred Cantu, CBS Austin News.
A lot of work ahead. That's tough to see. Relief efforts are now underway in Marble Falls. The city helped set up a donation center at the First United Methodist Church. They're asking for bottled water, cleaning supplies, tools, and gift cards. They also need your help volunteering. People who want to offer a hand are asked to head to the Marble Falls Baptist Church.
Now, weather with Chief Storm Tracker meteorologist Chicago Windler.
As people in Marble Falls clean up, a lot of people downstream are worried about what's next for them.
Absolutely. And now that we've got floodgates open in several locations, and potentially for Lake Travis area, we could see unprecedented if they open more floodgates. We may see more significant floodwaters coming down through Lake Austin, through Lady Bird Lake, eventually on down the Colorado River toward Bastrop and Smithville and LaGrange, and then downstream. In fact, the reason that all of these flood ops are going on is so much rainwater coming in. Both Lake Travis and Lake Buchanan are called storage reservoirs. They're our drinking water, right? Well, Lake Buchanan, its peak is 1020. If anything goes above that, it just spills over and causes flooding that is uncontrolled. So the LCRA's goal is to make sure that they stay at or below 1020 so that they can control the flow of that water. Lake Travis, meanwhile, 681 is full, but the spillway is a full 33 feet above that. So we're technically at 698, but still within Lake Travis. 134% full. Okay, so where do we go from here? Well, Lake Buchanan has continued to rise, but just recently, as a result of 8 floodgates open, it's steadying off and perhaps even trying to trend down a little bit. But that extra inflow that is coming through Lake Buchanan, and the reason that Lake Buchanan got so high is not because of rain here, but instead rain upstream in places like San Saba. All of that passing through Lake Buchanan, going down through Inks Lake, toward Kingsland, which is where the Llano River meets the Colorado River, down toward Lake LBJ, where at Wirtz Dam yesterday 10 gates were open, now 4 gates are open. Then off toward Marble Falls, where we've got gates open there at the Starkey Dam, and then eventually toward Lake Travis. Currently, 4 gates are open, but we have been told by the LCRA they might have to open up to 8. The most ever open 6 gates. So this could be unprecedented. Then it all pushes down into Lake Austin, where the Tom Miller Dam has 4 gates open, and then we'll just have a ripple effect as that high water will push through. It would not at all surprise me if on Friday, which is when we're expecting the peak at Lake Travis of about 705 to 710, on Friday it would not at all surprise me if we see perhaps the Auditorium Shores area inundated because of what's heading downstream. This has the potential, we're right now at 6th highest, to be between the 3rd to possibly as high as the record amount, which was the Christmas Day storm of 1991, 710.44. That is within the realm of possibilities. To add to that, we've also got potential of seeing some more showers. Right now, it's pretty spotty, but computer models, though not in agreement, are suggesting that we could see potentially moderate rain for both tomorrow as well as Friday, with an 80% chance tomorrow, a 70% chance Friday, and then a 60% chance Saturday. A front luckily looks like it'll clear us out for a day, Sunday, which is good news for Circuit of the Americas, and next week rain chances ramp back up. When all is said and done, some locations could see another 1 to 2 inches next 3 days, and then maybe another 2 inches or more next week.
Bob's here now with sports. Baseball and basketball in a real battle tonight.
You can either watch the Major League Baseball playoffs or opening night of the NBA, plus some college basketball going on downtown. The line is already out the door at Gregory Gym for tonight's Texas tip-off. Why Shaka Smart may revert back to his old ways this year. CBS Austin Sports is next.
This is the Thomas J. Henry Sports Desk.
Some fun contests. There'll be some three-point shooting and a little bit of scrimmaging. And, you know, I have to say that if Sedona would have been healthy, we probably would have thrown her in the dunk contest. But we're not quite ready for that.
Next year. We'll do it next year. Probably no Ferris wheel, probably no fun house. The Longhorn basketball teams hope, though, that it's at least a little bit of a madhouse inside Gregory Gym tonight for the Texas tip-off. CBS Austin's Jeff Barker is there and tells us what you can expect.
With Mo Bamba off to the NBA, Shaka Smart has his first team without a highly touted big man for the first time in 2 seasons. Now, Shaka obviously came to Texas from VCU, well known for his havoc style of play, and this team's personnel, full of guards, could lend itself more to that up-tempo, quick attack.
Coaches kind of see pressing in different ways. I've always really liked it. Some of the guys on our staff maybe see it a little differently, but I'm the head coach, so I get to decide whether we do it or not. And the exciting thing about it is we do have, knock on wood, right now, the depth, you know, to play faster.
The first 3,000 fans in attendance will also get their first look at Karen Aston's UT women's squad. And in between, there will be another dunk contest, and if it's anything like Kerwin Roach jumping over his mom last year for the win, we'll have plenty of highlights for you tonight at 10. At Gregory Gym, Jeff Barker, CBS Austin Sports.
All right, Greg, Kevin Durant and his Warrior teammates celebrated in style last night their 2018 NBA title. Then they put on a show for the fans. Kevin Durant finished with 27 points, 8 boards, and 6 assists as Golden State took down a Westbrookless OKC. Mavs are in Phoenix. Rockets host the Pelicans to open their season tonight. It'll be a wild night in Houston. Alex Bregman will lead off for the Astros tonight as they try to even things up in the ALCS. They were 8-4 this year when he led off. Stay with us. We're back after this.
Lake Travis braces for more flooding. The damage done when the lake rose to the highest ever recorded level in 1991.
Fears growing downstream. The homes in danger as rising water takes aim at Lake Austin. Those stories and more coming up at 6:30.